Okay, are you ready?
Sure,
Ready?
I guess.
Have a little more enthusiasm? You're excited to be here? Nowhere else that you'd rather be?
Sure.
Humble Narcissist Podcast, episode 23.
Woot woot.
Today, our topic is going to be customer service stories at request of a subscriber.
We got a comment.
Woot!
We need more.
Give us ideas, things that you want us to talk about. Before we get into it, we're going to do our usual, how have you been? What have you been up to?
Fantastic. Finally caught up on X-Men, and there's so many jokes. I really enjoy this new reboot of it.
Rogue went hardcore in the newest episode.
I know when she
She just started beating the crap out of everybody.
I know, and then she let him drop.
Oh, I love that part.
It was great.
But then he was a sentinel. Bum, bum, bum.
Yeah.
That guy.
I don't who are the people that Professor X is with? I don't know who they are.
I don't know, but when I look at them, all I think of is owls, and I hope that's the right animal that they are, because I think of the owl people.
Well, it cracked me up when they announced him, and he was, or is Queen whatever her name was.
Amidala.
Yes. And Her Royal Highness's consort, Charles Xavier, he's like, they're talking to me like I'm your pet. And she's like, you can wolf later. And she's like, yes, daddy. It just cracked me up.
She was, too. And then my girl Emma Frost is alive.
Well,
Woo,
yeah.
woo.
And you know she had to say something sassy when she came out. I always do this. Or something.
Always crystallize.
You're right.
It's like, yeah, you go, girl. It was a good episode. I have not really been up to much. I started watching A Discovery of Witches, which gives me...
Are you done with the middle then?
I am done with the middle. I've watched every episode of the middle now, and then I'm on to A Discovery of Witches.
Spoiler, it got canceled.
Well, no crap. They had like a finale.
I know.
But Discovery of Witches reminds me a lot of Twilight, because there's like even a scene in the first season where he's like, I just want to eat you. And she's like, I feel so safe in your arms. And it's like, girl, it's bad. It's like you could see the parallels pretty obviously, as opposed to like the anime Marshall and Harry Potter, which is basically just Harry Potter but anime. But it's a decent series. I'm in season 2 already.
Well, that's good. Woo-woo. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I tried to get into it and I could not.
Well, I'm telling you, it's freaking Twilight, but add in like demons. But other than that, I had a wonderful salesperson come to my house. He knocked on my door, and I had to fight Freya off, because you know how she is. She's like new friend.
Exactly.
Sees me fight her off, so I go outside, and he proclaims to tell me that he sees 2 missing shingles on my roof, and says that he wants us to hire him to fix it. And I was like, well, give me your card, and I'll give it to my husband, because I don't really make those decisions.
Exactly.
Like, I'll make the calls, but I don't make the decisions.
You don't sign your name on the credit card bill.
No, I do
I know
not.
this.
I am Erica Jane in this relationship. I don't worry about the finances.
So are you going to give up the diamond earrings?
No, they're mine. But so then he proclaims, he's like, well, can I have your phone number? And I'm like, no, I don't really want to give you my number, because I don't like giving my number to people.
Well, yeah.
And then he's like, well, what's your name? So I say, Stephen. And he goes, do you want to give me your number so I can give you a follow-up? And I'm like, no.
Give me your card.
I said, I'll take your card and my husband will call you if we're interested. And he's like, oh, okay. And then he waits a second and he's like, are you sure I can't get your number? And I was like, no. So then after the interaction, he turns and says to me, oh, by the way, Stephen, do you go by sir or ma'am? And I was like, you bitch.
Well, okay. So I have to say, in this climate now, you can't assume.
I said my name is Stephen, not Stephanie.
That doesn't mean anything. There are people that have very feminine sounding names that are boys.
I'm going to punch you if you're going to be devil's advocate with this, because yesterday when I told you about this, you were all on my side.
Well, yeah, but that's before I knew, when he was trying to figure out what your pronouns were.
Sure. He was trying to be a douche.
Was he? Okay, if he was trying to be a douche.
He sits there.
I'm just saying, because you never know anymore how people want to present as.
If I could find your throat, I would punch it.
It's okay. No one can find my throat, bitch.
Anyway, it ends with him sitting there, and he turns and he goes, well, Stephen, once we can fix your roof, you can have a nice roof like all your neighbors.
Oh, well, that's good.
No, I'm sitting here thinking, you want me to like hire you to do this and you're going to insult my house? No, thank you. So I immediately was like, came inside, threw the cart in the trash, and I was like, we are never using that company.
Mm-hmm.
Never.
I don't blame you. I will never use that company.
I may not make the financial decisions, but I do.
You make that decision.
I sure do, Dillon. But that's what I've been up to. Other than that, went to lunch with my mom on Sunday.
Oh, nice.
Just getting insulted by salespeople, because that's my life now, I guess. Mm-hmm. I'm nice enough
That's what happens when you're unemployed.
Well, I'm nice enough to at least open my door.
Yeah, you're better than me. I wouldn't.
Right. Everybody that I talk to... I
pretend I'm not home.
Well, everyone I've talked to are like, I would have just checked my camera, and if it wasn't someone I knew, I wouldn't go to the door.
Exactly, because 9 times out of 10 is either a crazy person or Jehovah's Witness or the same crazy person.
Well, you know, I decided to be a nice person for once, but I won't be doing that again.
Because I remember opening up the door at your house, and it was a Jehovah's Witness person at your mom's old house when we were younger. Oh, God. And they told me I was going to hell.
Oh, that's funny. They told you that you're going to hell.
Yes.
Did you look at him and go, I know, I'm going in a handbasket?
I said, okay, bye. And then I closed your front door.
God. So have you been up to anything else other than that?
Just work.
God.
I live an exciting life.
I do too now. I do too.
I have a question for you, though.
That's a lie. What's your
question?
question?
Do you go by sir or ma'am?
I go by Sir Dillon, and you know that.
It's ma'am.
Unless you want to call me Queen, then we can go there.
Yeah, no.
So let's go ahead.
Well, before we get into our topic of the day, do you want to touch on Drag Race? Since it is over, finally?
So season 16 is officially over. Congratulations to our girl, Nymphia Wind.
Yeah, I was surprised.
She is now the... Why were you surprised?
Honestly, I totally thought it was going to be a Saphira win.
I did too. The way that the producers made it looked like they were totally going Saphira.
As soon as I saw that they gave Saphira the Miss Congeniality, I knew she wasn't winning.
Really?
Yeah, because they're not going to give her both.
I mean, they could have.
No, they could have, but no, I don't see that. I figured they wanted her to get some sort of money, so I think that's... So, and if they were set on Nymphia winning, that's what was going to happen.
I think that where it was for me, where it hit me that, oh my God, Nymphia's about to take this, was the lip sync.
Because At what part? Was it the balloons?
As soon as she came out, I was like, oh, she's going to have some tricks and it's going to be tough. But
the balloons were meh.
The balloons were cool, but then once she like did the cartwheel into like just the yellow outfit, that was when I was like, this is going for her.
She won the lip sync.
She outperformed her all day.
I just don't think it was Saphira's song.
I don't either. But
and I don't understand the vampire teeth.
I didn't get that either. But Nymphia, like, even like once she started moving and then she started like playing with the crowd, I was like, she's got this. They can't deny her this lip sync. But in my head, I was like, they're probably going to do the Jinx thing where they're like, based off this and their entire run.
With the edit, it kept showing them on Saphira. It wasn't really showing Nymphia. Right. So I don't know. I had a feeling after she won Miss Congeniality, she wasn't going to win.
I did feel for Plane.
Really?
I felt bad for her because you could tell that production-wise she was set up to be second or third place.
Well, yeah, they don't need a villain for the finale.
Well,
so they're going to cut their losses.
I mean, they gave the other two these huge production numbers.
And they let Erica Jane write the production number for Plane.
All she got was a bodysuit.
Yeah. And she just said the same words over and over again.
I felt bad for her.
And then they judged her on it, and she didn't even create it. So...
Was it really Erica Jane?
No, Erica Jane didn't do it. It just, that's what it was giving
gave you those
me.
Vibes?
Yes. Like, it was very, Erica Jane doesn't have a writer to write anything, so she had to write something herself, and then she performed it without auto-tune.
Well, congratulations to Nymphia. Nymphia, I think you deserved it. Absolutely. No doubt in my mind.
Now we got a month without Drag Race.
A month without Drag Race. We're going to have All Stars
9.
We'll talk about that more when we get closer to it. Because everybody that watches this, all 30 of you, knows that I love Drag Race.
31.
Are we at 31
I don't know.
Oh. I thought maybe you were paying attention to our stuff for once.
That's your job.
Wow. Anyways.
I want you to feel like you're utilized.
Oh, thank you, Dillon. So we decided to follow a listener's advice and do one about customer service.
Yeah, because I think between the two of us, we have a good, 20 years of customer service experience? Probably 20 plus.
Oh, yeah.
Probably 30.
And we have stories that we've heard from other people, things like that. Like my mother, I'll just start with this story because it's one of my favorite customer service stories of all time. When my mother was at a store that we'll say was not downtown.
Okay.
She's the front end lead, and there was a time where they found a dead body on the toilet.
Okay, inner city.
Inner city?
Yeah, intercity.
Okay, so inner city. Mind you, at this specific grocery store, there was a emergency exit that they could have taken right by the bathroom. However, the coroner came in and wheeled the guy out across the front end. So my mother sat there and she could not believe that they were just wheeling this guy straight out.
That's marketing right there for you.
In front of all of the customers. I mean... For real, though, what would you do if you were shopping?
That's perfect, like, PR. People are dying to come in.
Shut up, Dillon. There was, she told me a story once, inner city store, where somebody tried to steal a 24-pack of beer, and they put it in between their legs and put their skirt down over it and tried to, like, shimmy it out the door. God.
I mean, so when I worked downtown, there was a fight club on the corner next to the Chinese restaurant.
Was there really?
Yes, it was the homeless. They were some fancy bitches because they would come into our store and they would steal their wine and their cheese and their crackers, and then they'd take it out to the corner where the Chinese store is, and then they'd have their fight club. They'd sit there and beat the shit out of each other. Someone got stabbed. It was wild.
So when did you decide that you were done doing Fight Club?
Well, you don't talk about Fight Club. I was never a part of it, so I can.
That kind of cracks me up. They would just go in there, steal wine and cheese, and then go fight each other.
And then one of the dudes, he was banned, but he always came in and stole his fancy cheese.
So
he always wanted
to get in if he was banned. Did your security guards do nothing?
Do you not understand that security guards don't give a shit? They don't get paid to give a shit. They don't even have a taser. They are there to deter. So he came in and he got his stuff, and one of my cashiers at the time just kept shaking her bobblehead and like, you can't be in here, blah, blah. Then he whips down his pants and says, you can suck my big black dick.
Wow. I don't even know what to say to that.
Oh, it's intercity stores. But yeah, that was a fun one. And then there's this cute little gnome looking dude. He was an alcoholic. Yeah, but he was always so nice and so very friendly. But he came in and he was sold alcohol when he should not have.
Why? Because he was drunk?
Yes.
Okay.
I didn't do it.
So did somebody get in trouble for it, or?
They did.
Oh.
But he ended up slipping and cracking his head open. So
Oh.
he's sitting there weaving around, and he's still wanting to take his bottle of vodka with him.
Did he do it in the store?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh. Even bartenders know once you hit a limit not to serve anymore.
Right? And when this all happened, I was clocking in for my shift. So I just got in, and I was like, what the hell is going on? Because I see this dude, there's blood everywhere. He's just wibbling around trying to grab his vodka from the cashier, and they're like, nope, you can't have that. He's like, okay. He was so nice.
God. Speaking of gnomes, though, fun little side tidbit. Everybody always gets Dillon gnome stuff.
Oh my God, I can not.
It's because you kind of remind them of either like a gnome or a hobbit. I want you to know, one time I was at Cracker Barrel with my mother, and they had the gnome stuff out for spring, and she was like, oh, do you think Dillon would like this? And I started laughing. She goes, what's so funny? And I go, he hates gnomes, but everybody keeps
It's like
him
Nightmare
gnomes.
Before Christmas.
Yeah, I hate Nightmare Before Christmas, but a certain somebody, all I get is Nightmare Before Christmas.
So I can never like live down my gnomes just because I wrote a story about a gnome.
Well, I mean, not everybody knows about this gnome story that you wrote unless you're going around telling everybody.
No, but the people who do give me gnomes, they're the ones who know about it.
Wasn't the gnome just like a metaphor?
Yes.
Anyway.
I was trying to be artsy, but clearly I can't. I don't know big words.
No, you don't. I'm going to go to pivot off of your security guards don't give a shit thing. So when I worked in the inner city of a drugstore, we were the only one of this specific drugstore that still had a guard that was allowed to carry. If that tells you about the area. And I worked third shift. And I will always remember because this company tried to sit there and take the security, like just take the security guard away altogether.
Yeah. And
then they tried to pivot and be like, well, what if we made it so that the security guard can't carry any type of weapon? Would you, because they got paid extra because they had to carry. So they had a meeting with all of the third shift people and were discussing having the guard remove their weapon. And everybody was like, no, thank you. Because there was a liquor store / bar across the street that got robbed every weekend. And so the GM came in to talk to us about the statistics and how statistics shows that just if there's a guard present, then theft and like robberies are less likely to happen. And he got so mad at me because I looked at him and I said, well, let's think about it this way. If your daughter worked here and you had her working overnight with a guard without a weapon, how safe would you feel knowing that the store across the street gets robbed at gunpoint every weekend? Do you think that you'd want her coming and working overnight at this store? And he goes, well, I don't think I would mind. And I go, you're a liar.
You know what that makes me think of?
What?
Dead Like Me, that smart ass.
Well, I'll tell you what. After that conversation, we got to keep the guard.
Well, that's good. I'm glad. Because the security guard we had when I worked downtown, all he liked to do was sit there and go to the bathroom and watch the Brady Bunch. It was so weird. While I'm sitting there trying to pee, I can hear them talking, and Marcia is complaining about Jan.
There was a security guard that he would sit behind the counter with me and just like sit there and play on his phone. And my manager was once like, doesn't that bother you? And I'm like, no, he's literally right beside me. If somebody comes for me, he's right there.
Right?
Like, I don't know why I need to feel threatened when he's right beside me. Because usually they would be stationed on the other end, like down by the coolers and all that. And it's like, no, thank you. I'd like them closer just in case.
I mean, I don't know why.
I remember there was one time, it was when I just started doing overnights and I was doing it at our hometown. And this girl, I will say that she was probably like 18 or so, I'm going to assume. because at the drugstore, of course, we sold condoms. So she comes in with a group of guys, I would say 5. At the time I was 20, and I thought, those guys are hideous. And they bought a box of condoms, and that was it. So
who doesn't love Five Guys? Their milkshakes are great.
I was just flabbergasted. I was like, what the hell? So soon as they left, I remember
They were just going down to the car wash.
Well, I called the pharmacist at the time, and I go, did you see that girl in the group of guys? And he was like, yeah, the one's looking at condoms. And I go, yeah. He goes, did they buy any? I go, they bought a whole box. And he goes, sounds like the whore train just left the station.
I mean,
started
at least
laughing.
She's being protected.
She's being protected, but girl, you're pretty. Like, you don't need to be with like ugly people.
Well, you don't have to have standards.
Everybody should have a little bit of standards.
You would think.
Well, I mean, like maybe you should give up on some of yours, but most people should have standards.
So speaking of condoms, I actually had it was before I worked downtown. I moved from my hometown location to
Every time you say downtown, all I can think of is that.
downtown. Yes, but I moved to closer to where I live now. And I had to work like the 3 to midnights because that was the only way to get my full-time status.
Okay.
Because my hometown one screwed me out of full-time. But anyway.
I remember that.
Yes. So it was about 11:45 at night. I'm sitting there reading my book because there's no one in there. So, I mean, I didn't give a shit.
Right.
So then this guy and this girl come in. They're drunk. They're like, where are your pregnancy tests? I think she's pregnant. I'm like, they're over there by the pharmacy. Like, okay, you're not closing yet. You got about 15 minutes. Okay, that's perfect. That's enough time for her to piss on the stick. So they go and they get it. And then they pay for it, and then they go to the bathroom. And so I do my closing stuff, and then midnight comes around. I'm like, get the fuck out. I want to go home. And next thing I know, from the back of the store, I hear, she's not pregnant. And then he bought some beer and they left.
Did he pay for the test though?
Yes, they paid for it before they went and peed on it.
Oh.
So, but
That's
it just
a positive.
Right? I said congratulations.
That's a happy way to end the night though. Like
Exactly.
at least he was like happy and wasn't raging.
Exactly. I thought it was funny.
I got a story for you that involves like somebody that thinks that they're pregnant. So
Is it a priest?
no. So this girl and guy come in and they're looking all over for the Plan B pill. Mm-hmm. And they're like, do you have any Plan Bs? And I go, if it's not on the shelf, we don't have it, but it'll be back in like...
Need a Plan C.
They did. So we were sold out of them, and they asked the pharmacist if they had any in the back. So he took a look and was like, no, we're all out. And he was like, but we can check the other stores so that you can know. They get so mad. They start raging. They knock over a display on their way out. And I'm just like, are you freaking kidding me? So I had to walk over there and clean up this display and like check out a few of the pops because they busted. I was so mad. And I just thought to myself, it's not that deep, man. Just go somewhere else and get it. But
See, those are the type of parents that leave their children in the car on a summer day.
So your mom?
No, it can't be because I'm still alive.
All things considered, his mother is a very good mother. I don't want people to think that she's not.
She just smoked crack while she was pregnant with me. That's why I'm deformed. Not really, but
I can't confirm or deny that. I don't know that side
I
of
wasn't
her.
dropped on my head though. I can say that.
I think I might have been. But that's something to ask
I mean,
my
that
mom.
would have been a valid excuse for my lip. They just dropped me on my face and I just split open.
Busted open.
Yeah.
I mean, these are questions that we can ask our mothers for our Mother's Day episode. Coming up. So let's see. What's your next customer service story, Dylan?
I have a couple. Like there's this time, this guy came in and he just walked over to the upstairs because when I worked downtown, there was an upstairs mezzanine where you could go sit and eat your food and then leave because it's like around a college town.
Okay.
So college kids can come in, they do their homework upstairs, that kind of thing. This dude came in, he dropped his pants on the stairs and took a huge ass shit. And then just left. It's just like, why?
Did you have to clean it?
No, thank God. It's not my job. My job's to delegate.
So you sent someone else
Yes.
to go clean it. God.
That's just like when I was a cleaner in the hometown place, and this old man just like crapped his pants and trailed it all the way out of the front of the store with him. I was like, I have more seniority. She has to clean it. I ain't touching that shit.
I don't blame you. Here's that. So I wasn't the cashier or anything in this instance, but there was one time I was out and about, and just like how stupid some people are. This woman was berating these girls at, we'll say, just the sandwich shop, talking about how she got the bacon chicken ranch.
Is that
sandwich.
Blimpies?
Yeah.
Since
Close.
they don't exist.
You're close. But she sat there and she was like, I got the chicken bacon ranch sandwich and there's no ranch on it. So she drove home and drove back. So she comes back raging at these ladies. And it, like, all I could do was laugh because the ladies tried to give her this out. And the out was, she goes, oh, well, did you order it online? No, I was here and I saw you make it. And that's when I lost it.
Oh my God. I had a situation like that 2 weeks ago when I went to this place that's not Blimpies. And because I wanted a buffalo chicken sandwich. And I told him I wanted ranch on it, but he didn't give me ranch. So when I got it, it was just buffalo sauce. So instead of complaining, I did what you're supposed to do. I ate it and I cried because my mouth was on fire.
Well, not this lady. So as soon as I start laughing, she turns around and she goes, what's your problem? And I couldn't help it. I go, you watched her make it. This is on you, lady. But anyway, so we will take a short break and we will be back with more customer stories. We are back. So after my fun days working at, oh, you know what? Here's a good story.
Okay.
So, as you know, when I worked at the drugstore, I moved around to different stores, depending on like the openings and things like that.
Yeah, I get it. I did the same.
So I eventually became one of the shift supervisors for this store at like, it's still inner city, but it's not like we'll say it's a fancier side. And so.
It was south.
Yes. So there was this lady that we did like photos and things like that. She ordered this, what is it? A canvas print. Mm-hmm. So she comes in and she proclaims that, she has this 50% off coupon. Mm-hmm. So my cashier pulls it up and says, well, that's for online only. He's like, you have to do it before you check out online. So then she starts raging about how he should still take it because it's technically a coupon in the store. Now, normally.
So why the fuck could she just not return it and then go around and then do the order again but use a coupon?
I don't know. But normally, because of my attitude at that point at this job, I was like, I just don't care anymore.
Yeah, just do it, right?
I would have just done it. However, I am not the type of manager, not to toot my own horn, but once my person says something, I'm a back them up.
Yeah.
So I backed up my cashier and was like, I'm really sorry, but it is online only and you've already checked out. Here it is. So then she demands that she wants a refund. Mm-hmm. So we refund it for her and then she leaves angry, of course, and then she calls.
How ugly was her canvas print?
Oh, it was hideous. It was just like a tree. Is all what it was.
Wow.
Because it's coming, Dillon.
Okay.
So she calls and demands to speak to the manager. So my cashier sends me the call. So then she starts berating me, telling me how she ordered this canvas and if she sees it anywhere, she will sue us because she is a photographer and we better dispose of it properly. So I go,
did you say we already lit it on fire out back?
No, but
I would have.
I told her, I go, I will make sure that it's disposed of properly. And she was like, I just want to confirm that you're not going to come back and get this, correct? She goes, no, I'm not. But if it's anywhere, I will sue you personally. And I was like, I'm going to dispose of it. And she goes, how? And I go, soon as I get off this phone with you, lady, I'm going to go grab a box knife and cut it up. And she goes, you're going to do what? And I told her, I go, I'm going to go grab a box knife, cut it up, and who knows, maybe I'll let the cashier cut it up too, just to take out some frustration. And
I give it a nice red smile.
And I go, will that suffice for you? And she was like, well, I guess. And I go, have a good day, and hung up. So I go up to the front and I pull out that canvas, because once it's returned and all that, it's going to be, you throw it in the trash anyway.
Exactly.
So I take a box cutter and just start slicing it up. And the cashier goes, what are you doing? And I go, she wants us to dispose of it. Do you want to whack at this? And he was like, sure. So he starts cutting it. And I go, you know what? This makes me feel so much better.
You know what would make it better is if she came back in for it.
Oh, it was bad. It was worse destroyed than Beast's picture in Beauty and the Beast, where he has his claw marks.
See, unlike you with the whole like, you just don't give a shit. When I worked in the grocery store, I followed that coupon policy like it was nobody's business, because those bitches are crazy. Because they go and they extreme coupon so they can go sell their fucking Tide and their Downy dish soap and make money off of it. I get it.
Yeah.
But I'm going to make them follow the rules. And this one lady, she got so mad at me. I think it's because she was totally banging the manager, because she thought the manager was going to help her, but he didn't. He backed me up instead because he liked me.
Well,
but
you got to back your people.
Exactly. Because I told her, I said, because she wanted to use, like, she had like 20 million coupons, and the coupon itself said limit 5 coupons.
Oh.
Yes. When the coupon itself says that, and then our policy is like 5 coupons, you have to follow what the coupon says. I says, I can't do anymore because I'd be committing coupon fraud. And she lost her shit on me. And it's okay. I don't care, because I just kept saying, I'm sorry you feel that way. I hope you have a great rest of your day.
I will tell you what, when it came to couponers, there was only one couponer in my history of retail that I was like, this lady's fine with me. And that was because because you know how couponers are. They're freaking nuts. If you tell them that you can't take a coupon, they will rage. Not this lady. This lady was super nice. And whenever any issues arose, she was just like, okay, whatever. She's like, you could just throw that in the trash then.
Exactly.
And she moved on. So I liked her. And back in my retail days, did I take coupons that I shouldn't have for her? Yes.
Absolutely. I would do the same thing if they were nice to me.
It goes back to the whole, with customer service, the nicer you are, the more you want to help them. Like, for example, there was in my newer field where I was selling upholstery fabric, there was this guy, the shipping company lost his package, and he called and just berated me nonstop for days. And I would just thought to myself, I am done helping you. This isn't my issue. I didn't lose it because we shipped it how he wanted to ship it, and they lost it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm done with this. So I ended up handing it off to my second because he liked her more and gave her some respect. But the moment that I was like, I'm done with this, was when on the phone I was like, well, we're waiting to hear back from your shipper. They told us that they'll get back with us on Monday. And he had the gall to say to me, so are you going to be any more intelligent on Monday? And I don't know what came over me, but I was just like, oh hell
the
no.
devil would have come out on me.
So I go, I lost it. Every niceness left my body, and I'm not like super proud of it, but I am kind of proud of it, because I was like, that's it, I don't need this. And I go, well, that's rude. And he goes, excuse me? And I go, you want me to help you and you're being this rude to me, asking me if I'm going to be smarter on Monday? I go, I have done everything that I could for you at this point. He immediately started backtracking, and he was like, no, that's not what I'm trying to say. And I go, well, what are you trying to say? And he was like, well, you said that you'd have more information on Monday. I just want to know if you're going to be a little bit more intelligent on Monday then.
Yeah, so are you saying...
I'm like, are you saying that I'm stupid right now or what? So then, mind you, my people all turned and looked at me on the phone while this was going down. But I was just like, I've had enough, man. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm taking this guy's like crap for days, and you're going to call me stupid? Mm-hmm. So then... the person that originally it started with, I was like, you're taking this over. I was like, because I can't talk to this guy anymore. Yeah. I'll give you all the information that you need. I was like, but I'm not speaking to him. I go, because I will lose my job. Mm-hmm. So I was like, poof. And I didn't deal with him anymore. But...
So I was scrolling through the TikToks the other day, and I came across this one. It's this old dude at Costco. He's like, I don't want any LED light on my chicken. Scan my shirt. And he had the rotisserie chicken barcode on his shirt and made the cashier scan it 5 times. What is the difference of putting that, having the LED on his body compared to scanning the chicken?
Well, now I want to know, does it change the flavor of the chicken?
I don't know, but it made me think, because I had a crazy when I worked downtown. He was the same way. He would come into the store in his black trench coat and his bald ass head, take a cart, and then walk throughout the aisles, and then he would spend a good 4 to 6 hours shopping. 4 to 6 hours shopping, because he would walk the aisles, and then he meticulously cut the barcodes off of the product. So then when it came up, he's like, you're not scanning my food. And he would throw all like the little the cardboard barcodes down and have him scan that. And then he would be like, well, I don't want this anymore. After he already cut it off of there. So well, it's not like we could sell it.
That's nuts, Dillon. How did you deal with that?
I don't work in that business anymore. So that's how I deal with that.
Like, that's a whole new level of crazy. Like, what? I don't understand. What does scanning the product have to do with, like, destroying the taste or whatever?
BetterHelp will help you get in contact with someone who can give you proper therapy. We are not endorsed by BetterHelp, but people need therapy.
Oh, yeah, they do. Shit, I need therapy, especially after all those years of customer service.
Oh, fuck.
God, there are days where you'll go in and you're just feeling so good about yourself, and then, like, one person just makes you feel like you're nothing.
Pretty much.
And it's awful.
If it makes you feel better, you are nothing.
Shut up, Dillon.
Trash.
Compared to you, I'm fucking God.
I wouldn't go that far.
I would.
Okay, so at least... you have rubber on your tire, so it's grounded there. But if you get out of your car, you're fucked. Lightning just...
Well, I gotta go somehow. At least then I'll have an interesting story.
True.
To tell my friends in hell.
I know, I can't wait. I already have a double wide setup.
Anyway, so there's just so many crazy people out there, especially when it comes to customer service. You, like...
it all goes back to just, like, human kindness.
Yeah.
And that's my biggest pet peeve, is not being nice to people, especially in customer service. So like when I'm with people who how I can hear their tone and it sounds a little rude or condescending or just like insulting, I check them. I said, hey, be a little nicer. Right. They're doing what they can. Because in my head, I am convinced that, like, if at a restaurant, they spit in my food.
Oh, yeah.
If
restaurants, I do not complain unless it's, like, real bad.
Exactly.
But, like, it goes back to, again, the whole be nice to the customer service people, and they'll be nice to you. There are customers that they would just be so
I'd give them plastic bags if I knew they were stealing, if they were nice to me.
Oh,
I don't care. I'd help them.
I wouldn't go that far, but...
I mean, I've never gone, like, that far because they never blatantly stole.
Right. But
unless they were rude assholes. But
right. But, like, there are times when it comes to customer service workers where, like, even if a customer's complaint is, like, even in your head, you're just like, well, this is silly. Mm-hmm. But if they are so genuinely nice to you, you'll take everything that they say serious.
Exactly.
And you'll do everything that you can to help them.
But no, if they're rude to me, I'm going to be the pettiest motherfucker ever.
Right. It's
to the I almost got stabbed over a quarter on a frozen pizza. So I will be petty if you are rude to me.
We'll just call you Petty LaBelle. Petty LaPone. God. But I mean, my God, it's not hard just to be nice to people.
Yes, it is. Especially in this current climate, apparently.
I disagree.
I would like to disagree, but unfortunately, that's just how it is.
I will go above and beyond to help when it's customer service. So long as you give me respect, I will give it to you. You don't have to like me, but just give me a little bit of respect. Oh, here's another one from my mom. One story that she used to tell me when she worked at a inner city store. This woman had a sheet cake, and she ate all but like a fourth of it.
I have a good one next.
And she came back to return it and said that the cake was too salty. So her manager at the time, I don't know what happened, but he must have had it that day. Because when he came down to approve the return, he was like, she pretty much ate all but a fourth. And my mom was like, I know. And so he's like, give her a fourth of her money back. She's not getting it all back. He was like, if it was too salty, they would have known after a couple slices.
Speaking of returns... it was when I worked at the first location, good old hometown. It was just like, this cripply lady. Like, she had a hunch and she was a little awkward looking. She had this fat little kid with her all the time. I assume it was her son or grandson or something. I don't know. But she would always return shit. Today, she decided she wanted to return an enema kit. The reason she wanted to return it, it did not work.
So she tried it.
She tried it. It was used, and she wanted her money back.
Ew.
Yes. So, I mean, they gave her money back. But I remember it was because I was out pushing carts, and I see her fat little kid just trips and falls over, and she's sitting there yelling at the smokers because they're out on break because no one would help her son up.
Well, that ain't their job.
Exactly. But who would return a used enema kit?
I don't know. I don't like to do returns at all. It always feels awkward for me when I'm like, hey.
When I'd have those travelers downtown, and because they only come for a couple days and they buy out the store. And so then they return what they don't use, which is all of it.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so I make eye contact with them as I scan everything, and I throw it on the ground. It pisses me off because it's such a waste.
So speaking of like wasted food, back when I was at the drugstore, they have a policy where like when it comes to like snacks, you have to throw it out 30 days before it expires. And that was one of the things I was in charge of, was checking all the out dates. So I went through the snack aisle and I had like a cart full of stuff, and I put it in the back because what they do is they just throw it in the trash. And I tell one of my workers, I'm like, hey, there's a cart full of snacks back there. When you take the trash out tonight, do you mind throwing it away? He was like, well, yeah, I could do that. So then 30 minutes passes and he comes and finds me carrying these bags of beef jerky. And then he goes, Stephen, these don't expire for 25 days. And I go, I know that. Policy is if it expires within the next 30 days, get rid of it. And he was like,
what a waste.
That's what he said. He goes, what? Can I just have these then? And I go, I'll tell you what. Because this is the type of like supervisor I was there. I go, in my head, everything in that cart has made it to that dumpster. I go, what happens from the store to the dumpster? I don't care. And he was like, are you telling me that I can take it? And I go, I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying I don't know what happens to it from there to there.
I assume it made it to the dumpster.
Right.
But if it doesn't, I wouldn't know.
Yeah. So I'm like indirectly telling him, take it. I don't care. There's been some times where they would donate it to like food pantries and stuff like that, but that all comes down to the manager. And I do know that one store used to do that, but then they got a new manager, and the new manager set everything in the dumpster because they're just so charitable. And let me just tell you, not to start a war with like the crazy Christians, super religious guy, didn't want to help the needy. And that's like Jesus's thing.
I thought his thing was dying and coming back to life.
And helping the needy.
Ghosting the girls.
The girls?
The girls.
He ghosted the shit out of them.
Literally, he came back to life.
I know. He was like the whole song of Evanescence that bring me to life. But there are some good stories, but when it came to retail, I could only do so much. I will say that I was so thankful for when I got the new job that I had until I just recently quit. That is a place I would go back to. Like, granted, now that I've told the story about that guy calling me stupid, I probably wouldn't be welcome. But
I'm sure you'd still be welcome back.
But, like...
Just get a claw machine and be on your knees all the time. You'll be fine.
Good one, Dylan. I'm leaving that in. But customer service is crazy.
You know what, though? It makes a great experience because it gives you stories.
It does. And I will say, because I did one where it was in person and then one more so when it's like pretty much online and like emails and phone calls. I will take emails and phone calls
any day.
They would always ask me, they'd be like, oh, how does the stress level compare to the old job to now? And I'm like, this is nothing.
Like, personally, like, all I know is customer service, and I have to say I'm really good at it.
Like, not to toot our own horns, but we are really good at customer service. Yeah, because
like we have our customer service voices and all this shit.
And it takes a lot to make us crack.
Oh, absolutely. And hell, I still get people who recognize me. Didn't you used to work at that one place, or didn't you used to work there? Oh, hey, how have you been? So that's still rewarding. I mean, it's creepy sometimes, but
I have customers that'll text me like just to be like, how are things going? And I'm just like, oh, they're going good. So like that's rewarding.
You're like, I'm living my trophy wife fantasy.
I prefer the term domestic
and your Gucci
goddess.
joggers.
No, I am a domestic goddess for now.
But do you go by ma'am or sir?
I go by sir, unless you're going to call me a goddess. That's a little different. That's like a step above ma'am.
Oh, yeah.
But
all right. Well, I think after this break, we're going to talk about final thoughts. But before we go, I have a question for you.
What's the question?
Are you going to be smarter when we come back?
I sure hope so, Dylan. I sure hope so. No, I'm going to continue to be the same old silly slut as I was before. And we are back with final thoughts. I will say that this was a lot of fun for me, so I hope that the listeners really enjoy it.
It was like nostalgic, thinking back about all the miserable times in customer service industry that I've dealt with. But you know what? I wouldn't change it because I'm good at customer service.
It got us to where we are today. I will say that maybe we'll do another part 3 of customer service stories, since part 1 was kind of like last week because we kind of dove into that.
Well, the one thing I've always learned with customer service, there's a way to tell someone to fuck off and go die in the nicest way possible.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the best part.
And, like, the people that know you know what you're trying to say, but, like, that customer never knows.
I'm so sorry you feel that way, but I hope you have a great rest of your day.
That was a lot of fun for us.
It was.
We got to reminisce, talk about our fun little stories. What are some of your final thoughts for the week, Dylan?
Oh, this week has been so long, and I'm ready for it to be the weekend because I'm off work and I get to relax.
Well, this weekend, I'm hoping that we will finish setting up our patio because I'm going to get rid of our old patio furniture.
Oh, yay.
Mm-hmm. I don't know when our heavy trash pickup is, but my mom's is coming up, so we're going to use hers.
Do we have one over on this side of town? I thought that was just called theft.
Shut up, Dylan. We do. I got to call our trash company to figure out how it works, because I know that with some of their contracts, it's like you're allowed so many heavy items a week, and then some.
That's right. You were in the trash businth for a minute there.
I was in the trash business. And
you are trash.
Shut up, Dylan. And I had to take a 2-month-long class on trash and how everything works, and I still remember it all.
Because you are trash.
Shut up, Dylan. I learned a lot, and that's just the facts. So, anyways, like, follow.
Oh, well, now that he has me, like, follow, and subscribe, let us know what you think. Tell us some of your funny customer service stories if you have any. Let us know. Maybe we can relate.
If you
I
enjoyed
probably
this,
can. Steven stole money from his grocery store.
It was 37 cents, and it wasn't really theft. It was I marked a pop down from $1.37 to $1. Anyway, if you enjoyed
Sore
this,
spot.
maybe we will invite another customer service worker onto the podcast, and they can tell us their funny stories, because everybody has them.
Oh, absolutely.
That being said, we are on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify,
Patreon.
You can follow us at Humble Narcissists with an S. I'm hoping to get some TikToks out of this, so follow us on TikTok, Humble Narcissists, and we will see you next week.
So yeah, see you next week. Bye.
That was the weirdest way that you've ever said bye, and I'm going to leave that in.